God says, you have been given a lot of money. But if you don't listen to God now before it's too late, you won't receive the money. So listen this right now or you'll miss out. Don't skip. I am telling you this with urgency because what is placed before you is not ordinary, and if you turn away for even a moment, you may miss a door that I am opening with my own hands for your life. This is about the money you have been given in the Spirit and the favor already prepared, and it will only become real in your hands if you listen to me now with obedience and humility. Do not scroll past this, do not harden your heart, because the timing of this word is tied to your blessing, and I am speaking at the exact moment you need direction the most. If you believe I am speaking to you, comment, Amen. When I say you have been given a lot of money, I am revealing that provision has already been arranged, opportunities have already been aligned, and resources have already been assigned to your name in ways you cannot yet see. This is not a random promise spoken into the air, but a declaration that heaven has recorded your faithfulness, your tears, your generosity, and your silent endurance when no one else understood your struggle. The money is connected to purpose, and the purpose is connected to obedience, which means you must listen to me now before it is too late for this specific season that I have designed for your growth and stability. If this word is stirring your heart and you desire to receive what I am preparing, take a moment to like this video as a simple act of agreement with my direction and gratitude for what I am about to release into your life. You must understand clearly that listening to me now is not a suggestion, but a lifeline that protects you from missing the exact instruction that will unlock what has already been given. Many people lose blessings not because I did not provide them, but because they refused to listen in the moment when I whispered correction, wisdom, and restraint into their spirit. I am calling you to slow down, to quiet your distractions, and to give me your attention so that the money prepared for you does not slip away due to impatience or pride. The money I speak of is not only paper and numbers in an account, but influence, favor, open doors, restored opportunities, and unexpected increase that will stabilize your life and allow you to bless others. However, if you ignore my guidance now, if you rush ahead without seeking my counsel, then you will stand near the blessing but never fully receive it, because your choices will block what I have already assigned. I am warning you with love, not with anger, because I desire for you to walk into abundance without regret or sorrow. There are decisions in front of you that seem small, but they carry weight in the spirit realm, and your willingness to listen will determine whether those decisions multiply your resources or drain them. I have seen your need, I have heard your prayers about finances, and I have watched you worry about stability when bills and responsibilities felt heavier than your strength. That is why I am speaking so directly, because the money prepared for you is tied to your obedience in this present moment. Do not let fear push you to act without my direction, and do not let excitement cause you to move ahead without wisdom, because both fear and excitement can blind you from hearing my voice clearly. I am asking you to trust me deeply and to surrender your plans into my hands so that I can align your steps with the provision that has already been scheduled for your life. If you trust that I am guiding you toward this blessing, comment 1010. You are not forgotten, and you are not overlooked. Even though there were times when it felt like everyone else was advancing while you stood still waiting for breakthrough. I have been shaping your character during the waiting, teaching you patience, strengthening your faith, and preparing your heart so that when the money comes you will handle it with wisdom and gratitude rather than pride or recklessness. The reason I insist that you listen now is because the money is near, and the instructions I give you will determine whether it remains in your life or passes you by. I am not trying to scare you, but I am protecting you from missing something that you have prayed for repeatedly in private moments of desperation and hope. This is why I say do not skip, because skipping my voice leads to skipping my direction, and skipping my direction leads to missing the full measure of what I have already assigned to you. Stay with me in this moment, and let my words settle deeply into your heart so that you can walk carefully and confidently into the abundance I have prepared. The money is part of my provision, but your obedience is part of your responsibility, and together they create a path that leads to stability and peace rather than confusion and regret. I am calling you higher, not only to receive wealth, but to receive wisdom that protects the wealth and multiplies it for good. Listen closely, because what I speak to you in this season will shape your financial future in ways that will testify of my faithfulness for years to come. The money prepared for you is still connected to your willingness to listen now, and every step you take in this season is being weighed against the instruction I am placing gently but firmly within your heart. I am not repeating myself without purpose, but I am deepening your understanding so that you realize how serious and sacred this moment truly is. Do you know why people keep whispering about this 7-second CIA ritual? A leaked brainwave method is spreading quietly and changing financial realities worldwide. Proven by neuroscience, this simple ritual attracts money, freedom, and luxury. If you're seeing this, you're so lucky. Click the link in the comments before it's taken down. The reason I insist that you listen now before it is too late is because there are influences around you that are trying to rush you into choices that look profitable on the surface but are empty of my blessing underneath. Not every opportunity that promises quick money carries my approval, and not every door that opens was opened by my hand, which is why you must lean on my voice rather than your emotions. I am protecting the money I have assigned to you from being swallowed by impulsive decisions, unhealthy partnerships, and prideful independence that refuses wise counsel. You have been given a lot of money in the spirit because I have seen how you handled little with honesty and quiet faithfulness when no one else noticed your integrity. I have watched you resist temptation, choose fairness over greed, and give even when you felt like you did not have enough for yourself, and those unseen moments have positioned you for increase. The money that is coming is not a reward for perfection, but a response to perseverance, and I am calling you to guard your heart so that the increase does not corrupt what I have carefully shaped within you. Right now you are standing between preparation and manifestation, and the bridge between those two places is obedience to my voice in the present hour. If you ignore my direction because you think you already know enough, then the bridge weakens, and the money prepared for you may be delayed or reduced in its impact. I am not threatening you, but I am showing you how closely your listening is tied to your receiving, and how seriously heaven treats the partnership between my provision and your obedience. There are habits I am asking you to release, and patterns I am asking you to break, because the money you are about to receive requires a stronger foundation than the one you have relied on in the past. I am teaching you discipline not to restrict your joy, but to expand your capacity so that when the blessing arrives you can sustain it without fear of losing it. If you are ready to let me refine you for the increase I have planned, comment 1212. You must understand that listening now means more than hearing words, because it requires you to act differently, think differently, and choose differently than you have before. I am asking you to seek my counsel before every significant financial move, to pray before signing agreements, and to pause before committing to anything that feels urgent but lacks peace. The money you have been given will flow through the channels you build with obedience, and those channels must be clean, wise, and aligned with my will. I know you have felt anxious at times about whether the money will truly come and whether this promise is real or simply another hope that fades with time. I am telling you clearly that what I have spoken over you is not fragile or imaginary, but it is sensitive to the condition of your heart and the direction of your steps. When I say listen now, before it is too late, I am inviting you to remain in alignment so that the timing of your blessing matches the readiness of your character. The money will not simply appear to impress others, because its purpose is deeper than outward display and temporary comfort. I am giving you resources to stabilize your home, to relieve burdens that have weighed heavily on your shoulders, and to position you as a source of help and generosity for others who are struggling. However, if you chase the image of wealth more than the responsibility of stewardship, you risk weakening the very foundation that is meant to support your increase. I am training you to see money as a tool rather than a master, and as a gift rather than a god, so that it never replaces me in your heart or dictates your values. When you listen to me now, you are choosing relationship over impulse, wisdom over pressure, and faith over fear. The money prepared for you will multiply when it is managed with humility and gratitude, and it will shrink when it is handled with arrogance and carelessness. There are conversations you need to avoid because some voices carry jealousy, negativity, and doubt that can cloud your judgment and distort your perception of my guidance. I am calling you to guard your ears and your inner circle, because the money assigned to you requires clarity of mind and peace of spirit. If you allow toxic influence to shape your financial decisions, you may unknowingly distance yourself from the path I have laid before you. You may not yet see the full picture of how the money will come, but that does not mean the process is undefined or uncertain in my sight. I am aligning circumstances, arranging meetings, and orchestrating events that will connect you to the opportunities designed specifically for your growth and stability. Your role in this is to remain attentive, patient, and obedient, trusting that I am weaving details together even when you cannot trace them with your natural eyes. Listening now also means forgiving past financial mistakes and refusing to let shame dictate your future decisions. I have not called you to live in regret, but to learn from experience and move forward with wisdom strengthened by humility. The money I have given you in the Spirit is not blocked by your past, but it is strengthened when you approach your future with honesty and renewed commitment. I am aware of your responsibilities, your obligations, and the pressures that sometimes make you feel like you must act quickly to survive. That is why I am urging you to slow down internally, even if life around you feels rushed and demanding. The money prepared for you is not dependent on panic or desperation, but on steady obedience and consistent listening to my voice. There are moments ahead when you will feel a clear inner nudge to decline an offer, delay a purchase, or reconsider a partnership, and those nudges will be my protective hand guiding you away from loss. Trust those promptings, even when they seem small, because small obediences create large outcomes over time. The blessing you have been given is not fragile, but it is connected to your sensitivity to my direction. Why was this 7-second brain ritual hidden for so long? A leaked CIA document exposed a technique so powerful people are canceling debt and calling in wealth within days. Validated by 4 neuroscience labs, it helps attract money like never before. But this page may not stay online for long. Click the link in the pinned comments before it disappears forever. You are chosen to carry increase without losing your peace, and you are favored to receive provision without sacrificing your integrity. I am shaping you into someone who can handle a lot of money without being handled by it, and that shaping requires attention, humility, and daily surrender. If you feel my guidance drawing you closer and strengthening your resolve to listen carefully, comment 777. The provision has not disappeared, and the promise has not faded, but your posture right now will determine how smoothly you step into what has already been arranged. You are not waiting for me to act, because I have already acted in the unseen realm, and now I am preparing you to receive what I have positioned in your future. When I said, "You have been given a lot of money," I was revealing that the assignment attached to your life carries resources proportionate to its impact. I do not fund purpose halfway, and I do not release increase without intention, which means the scale of what is coming reflects the scale of what you are called to do. If you reduce your calling through fear or self-doubt, you indirectly reduce your capacity to steward what I have prepared, which is why I am strengthening your confidence through my voice right now. Listening to me now before it is too late means guarding your heart against comparison, because comparison can distort gratitude and weaken discipline at the same time. When you look at what others have and rush to match their pace, you risk stepping outside of my timing and compromising the steady flow I have designed for you. The money assigned to you is tailored to your journey, your responsibilities, and your spiritual maturity, and it will not look identical to anyone else's path. There are seeds you have planted through generosity and sacrifice that are beginning to mature beneath the surface, even though you cannot yet see the harvest rising above the soil. I remember every act of kindness, every disciplined choice, and every private prayer where you asked for stability rather than luxury, and those sincere desires have shaped the type of provision that is approaching you now. The money is not random, and it is not accidental, but it is the fruit of alignment between your obedience and my faithful oversight. I need you to understand something deeply, because misunderstanding this could delay your peace even when the money arrives. The increase will not remove the need for wisdom, and it will not eliminate the importance of prayer, because greater resources require greater attentiveness to my direction. If you assume that financial relief means independence from my guidance, you may drift subtly into decisions that chip away at what I built for you so carefully. There are moments ahead when you will feel tempted to prove yourself, to show others that you have finally arrived, and to display the blessing in ways that feed old insecurities. I am cautioning you gently, because the money I have given you is not meant to repair your image in the eyes of people who once underestimated you. It is meant to establish stability, expand generosity, and free your mind from constant survival mode, so that you can focus on the deeper purpose I have placed within you. The urgency in my words is not about panic, but about precision, because the timing of your obedience aligns with the timing of your breakthrough. If you delay listening to me in small matters, those delays can create ripple effects that shift larger outcomes further into the future. I am not withdrawing your blessing, but I am teaching you that responsiveness keeps you synchronized with the flow of provision that I have already released in the unseen. You may notice that certain distractions are intensifying, and that unexpected expenses or emotional pressures are attempting to pull your focus away from careful listening. These are not random disturbances, but tests of your steadiness and your commitment to prioritize my voice above external noise. If you remain grounded and refuse to let stress dictate your decisions, you will find that the money prepared for you moves toward you with increasing clarity. I also need you to release the belief that you must carry everything alone once the increase arrives, because that mindset can isolate you and distort your perspective. The money I have given you is not a burden to bear in secrecy, but a responsibility to manage with counsel, accountability, and humility. If you welcome wise advice and remain teachable even in success, you protect the longevity of what I am placing in your hands. You have been given a lot of money in the spirit, and part of listening now means adjusting your daily habits to reflect the level you are about to enter. I am calling you to budget wisely, to plan carefully, and to cultivate discipline before the numbers in your account change, because character must rise before income rises. If you build structure now, the blessing will rest on stability rather than chaos. There will be a defining moment soon when an opportunity aligns so clearly that you will sense my peace surrounding it, even if it requires courage to step forward. That moment will be connected to the money I have prepared, and your ability to recognize it will depend on how attentively you have listened in these quieter days. If you have trained your heart to respond to my guidance, the decision will feel steady and anchored rather than rushed and frantic. I know there have been seasons when you questioned whether I truly intended to prosper you, especially when setbacks made it seem like progress was reversing instead of advancing. Those seasons were not punishments, but preparations, and they strengthened your resilience so that you would not collapse under the weight of sudden increase. The money you are about to receive will not crush you, because the trials you endured have already expanded your capacity. If you are choosing to remain attentive and obedient in this critical season, comment 999. Can 7 seconds really change your bank account? A CIA-funded study just leaked, revealing a brain ritual that flips lives from broke to blessed. 4 neuroscience labs confirm it activates powerful wealth brainwaves. People are stepping into dream homes and luxury lifestyles. But this breakthrough won't stay online for very long. Click the link in the comments before it's deleted. I want you to also examine your motives gently and honestly, because the purity of your intention influences the clarity of your direction. When your desire for money is rooted in security, service, and stability, it aligns with my heart and flows smoothly through your life. When your desire becomes rooted in pride or comparison, it creates internal tension that can cloud your discernment and complicate your path. Listening to me now before it is too late also means letting go of bitterness from times when you felt overlooked financially while others seemed to advance effortlessly. Resentment can silently shape your decisions in unhealthy ways, pushing you to overextend yourself or to pursue opportunities simply to prove a point. Release that weight, because the money I am giving you is not a reaction to others, but a continuation of your unique journey under my guidance. You are not stepping into this increase alone, because my presence goes before you, surrounds you, and remains with you in every transaction and decision. I am not only the source of your provision, but also the protector of it, as long as you remain anchored in listening and obedience. The money prepared for you is covered by my wisdom, and it will flourish under my direction. If you sense my hand steadying you and guiding your financial future with care and purpose, comment 1515. I am not rushing you into excitement, but I am strengthening your awareness so that when the increase becomes tangible, you will recognize it as my faithfulness and not as coincidence. The reason I continue urging you to listen now before it is too late is because prosperity tests character in ways that hardship never could. When you were struggling, your dependence on me was obvious and consistent, but when relief comes, there is a quiet temptation to relax your vigilance and assume you can navigate on your own strength. I am calling you to maintain the same humility and abundance that you practiced in scarcity, because that humility is the shield that protects your blessing from erosion. You have been given a lot of money in the spirit, and I am preparing your inner world to match the scale of what is coming into your outer world. Emotional maturity must grow alongside financial increase, or else pressure will rise inside you, even when your accounts show improvement. I am shaping your patience, refining your reactions, and teaching you restraint so that no sudden gain overwhelms your peace or disturbs your priorities. There will be people who notice the shift in your life before you even fully understand it yourself, and not all of them will celebrate your growth with pure intentions. Some will approach you with expectations, requests, and assumptions that are not aligned with my plan for your stewardship. Listening to me now means developing discernment about when to give, when to decline, and when to remain silent without guilt or defensiveness. I do not want you to fear relationships, but I want you to protect your boundaries, because the money I have given you is meant to flow through wisdom rather than emotional pressure. If you give out of obligation instead of guidance, you may deplete what was meant to sustain you and empower your calling. If you withhold out of fear instead of prudence, you may block generosity that was meant to multiply your resources through faith. You are entering a season where decisions must be intentional rather than reactive, because the scale of your choices is expanding along with the scale of your resources. I am teaching you to pause before commitments, to research before investments, and to pray before agreements, because diligence is part of obedience. The money I have prepared for you will grow steadily when paired with thoughtful action and will weaken when handled carelessly. If you are choosing to approach this increase with humility and careful listening, comment 1717. There is something deeper I need you to understand about the urgency in my words, because it is rooted in love rather than control. When I say listen now before it is too late, I am protecting you from patterns that could quietly undermine your stability long after the excitement of receiving fades. Small habits of neglect, overspending, or ignoring my promptings can accumulate into larger consequences over time, and I desire to spare you from preventable loss. The money I have given you is part of a larger vision that extends beyond your personal comfort and into the impact you will have on others. I am positioning you as a channel of blessing, someone who can fund solutions, support meaningful work, and lift burdens from people who once stood where you stood. This role requires courage, generosity, and alignment with my heart, because wealth without compassion becomes hollow and unsatisfying. You may feel moments of disbelief as opportunities align, because part of you still carries the memory of seasons when doors closed repeatedly and hope felt fragile. Do not let old disappointment shape your expectations in this new chapter, because what I am doing now is not limited by what happened before. The money I promised is not tied to your past setbacks, but to your present obedience and my enduring faithfulness. There will also be moments when fear whispers that the increase could vanish as quickly as it appears, and that insecurity can tempt you to cling tightly rather than steward wisely. I am reminding you that I am the source, not the numbers you see, and my ability to sustain you is not dependent on fluctuating circumstances. If you remain attentive to my guidance, you will experience stability that extends beyond temporary highs and lows. Could this 7-second CIA brainwave trick be your fastest path to luxury? Leaked research reveals a simple ritual helping people attract wealth effortlessly. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, debt is dissolving and abundance is showing up fast. If you're seeing this now, you are God's chosen one. Click the link in the comments before it disappears. Listening now also means protecting your time, because financial growth often demands attention, planning, and learning that require focus. Do not allow distraction to steal the hours needed to educate yourself, organize your plans, and strengthen your discipline. The money I have given you will respond positively to intentional structure and will drift when treated casually. You are not alone in this transition, even when the responsibility feels weighty and unfamiliar. I am present in every detail, from the smallest budgeting decision to the largest strategic move, and I delight in guiding you step by step. The more you involve me in your planning, the more clarity you will experience, and the less anxiety will accompany your growth. I also want you to guard your gratitude carefully, because gratitude anchors prosperity in peace rather than restlessness. When you pause to acknowledge my hand in your increase, you create space for contentment and wise reflection. When you overlook my involvement and focus only on expansion, you may find yourself chasing more without enjoying what you already have. The money I have given you is not meant to define your worth, because your value was established long before any increase appeared. If you measure yourself by financial status, you will become vulnerable to pride when things rise and insecurity when things fluctuate. Keep your identity rooted in me, and let money remain a tool rather than a measure of who you are. If you sense my guidance strengthening your confidence and protecting your path, comment 1919. As you move forward, there will be seasons of rapid progress and seasons of steady maintenance, and both are necessary for healthy growth. Do not become impatient when expansion slows, because consolidation is often preparation for a larger leap ahead. I am orchestrating the rhythm of your increase, ensuring that it unfolds at a pace that builds endurance rather than instability. You may feel a subtle shift in your confidence, a growing sense that something substantial is unfolding, and that awareness is part of the preparation I have been guiding you through. I am not surprising you suddenly, but steadily building your capacity so that when the increase becomes undeniable, you will already be grounded and stable in your thinking. Listening to me now before it is too late remains essential, because the closer you come to manifestation, the more distractions attempt to crowd your focus. There will be voices that praise you, voices that pressure you, and voices that question you. And each one will try to influence how you handle what I have placed in your hands. If you allow external noise to outweigh my guidance, you may find yourself reacting instead of responding with wisdom, and that reaction can chip away at the blessing over time. You have been given a lot of money not for reckless display, but for meaningful direction, and that distinction must remain clear in your heart. I am aligning you with strategies that require patience, research, and consistency rather than impulsive leaps driven by excitement. The money prepared for you will flourish when handled with vision and restraint, and it will lose strength when treated as a shortcut to validation or recognition. There is a discipline I am strengthening within you that will become your greatest asset once the increase settles into your daily life. That discipline will help you say no when necessary, delay gratification when appropriate, and prioritize long-term stability over short-term thrills. I am cultivating this strength now because once the money becomes visible, the opportunity to practice restraint quietly may feel more difficult under pressure. You may notice that some old habits are resurfacing, especially those connected to emotional spending or decisions made from insecurity rather than clarity. I am not condemning you for past patterns, but I am inviting you to rise above them with awareness and intentional change. Listening now means recognizing triggers before they shape your actions and choosing wisdom before regret has a chance to form. If you are determined to handle this increase with maturity and careful stewardship, comment 222. I want you to also recognize that generosity will become an important part of your journey, but generosity must be guided rather than impulsive. There will be genuine needs that I will lead you to support, and there will also be manipulative appeals that tug at your emotions without aligning with my direction. The money I have given you will multiply when generosity flows from obedience, and will strain when generosity flows from guilt or pressure. There is a deeper peace I am establishing within you so that your financial growth does not disturb your spiritual foundation. Prosperity without peace creates restlessness, but prosperity aligned with my presence creates stability and joy. As the money begins to settle into your life, I want your heart to remain calm, your thoughts clear, and your spirit anchored in trust. Listening now also involves managing your expectations realistically, because rapid increase can create an illusion that progress will always feel fast and dramatic. There will be seasons when growth feels gradual, and those seasons are not signs of decline but of consolidation and strengthening. The money I have given you is meant to endure, not to spike suddenly and collapse just as quickly. You are entering a level of responsibility that requires accountability, and I am encouraging you to surround yourself with wise counsel rather than isolating yourself in pride. Seek advice from those who demonstrate integrity and experience, and remain teachable even when your confidence grows. The blessing attached to your life will remain protected when humility remains visible in your choices. What's really behind the 7-second brain trick exploding online? A leaked CIA ritual is turning heads and bank balances. Backed by neuroscience labs, this at-home method removes money blocks and unlocks unstoppable wealth flow. But the page could vanish any time. Click the link in the first comment before it's permanently deleted. I am also preparing you emotionally for moments when unexpected challenges arise, even in the midst of increase. Financial growth does not eliminate life's complexities, but it does provide tools to navigate them with greater flexibility and resilience. If you remain anchored in listening to me, you will approach challenges strategically rather than emotionally, and the money you have been given will serve you rather than control you. There may be times when you feel overwhelmed by the responsibility of managing more than you ever have before, and that feeling is natural in transition. Do not interpret temporary discomfort as inability, because growth often stretches you before it settles comfortably into your routine. I am expanding your capacity gently but firmly, ensuring that you are not crushed by the very blessing you prayed for. If you sense that I am strengthening your discernment and expanding your capacity at the same time, comment 555. I want you to reflect on how far you have already come, because gratitude for your journey will protect you from entitlement in your future. When you remember seasons of scarcity, you appreciate seasons of abundance with humility rather than arrogance. The money I have given you is a continuation of your story, not a replacement for your character or your dependence on me. There is also a quiet confidence forming within you that does not need public validation, and that confidence is healthy and rooted in awareness of my guidance. As opportunities present themselves, you will feel steadier, less frantic, and more strategic, because your decisions will flow from clarity instead of pressure. This inner stability is one of the greatest signs that you are ready to handle the increase wisely. Listening now before it is too late also means resisting the temptation to prove your worth through financial performance. You do not need to overextend yourself to impress anyone, and you do not need to chase every opportunity to confirm your value. I am teaching you that measured growth, guided by wisdom, will sustain you longer than aggressive expansion fueled by insecurity. The money I have given you carries potential for impact that extends beyond immediate comfort, and I am inviting you to think long-term about the legacy you are building. Consider how your decisions today will influence stability for years to come, and allow vision to guide you rather than impulse. When you plan with foresight and seek my counsel consistently, you create a pathway that remains strong even when circumstances fluctuate. There will be moments when you feel tempted to relax your listening because things appear to be going smoothly, and that subtle relaxation can lead to overlooked details. Continue inviting me into your daily choices, even when progress feels effortless, because consistency in listening prevents small cracks from forming unnoticed. The money you have been given thrives under steady attention and declines under careless assumption. You are not being watched by me with suspicion, but with care and support, because I delight in seeing you grow into this next level of stewardship. I am not waiting for you to fail, but actively guiding you towards success that is sustainable and honorable. The increase unfolding in your life is evidence of my faithfulness, and your attentive obedience is evidence of your trust. You are not merely stepping into increase, but into influence, and influence carries weight that must be handled with integrity and self-control. The preparation you have walked through was not unnecessary delay, but careful shaping so that when the resources expand around you, your character will remain anchored and strong. Listening to me now before it is too late continues to be the thread that keeps everything aligned, because the higher you rise, the more subtle the distractions become. In earlier seasons, temptation was obvious and loud, but now it may appear refined and reasonable, disguised as harmless compromise or strategic shortcut. I am sharpening your discernment so that you recognize even small deviations from wisdom before they have time to grow into costly mistakes. You have been given a lot of money in the spirit, and the physical manifestation is aligning with that declaration more clearly with each step you take in obedience. This increase is not meant to inflate your ego, but to expand your ability to fulfill responsibilities that once felt out of reach. I am entrusting you with resources because you have demonstrated faithfulness in quieter places, and that faithfulness is what will sustain you when the scale grows larger. There will be moments when success feels unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable, because you have spent so long navigating uncertainty that stability may initially feel strange. Do not misinterpret that discomfort as a warning to retreat, because growth often challenges your old identity before settling into your new capacity. I am helping you transition from survival thinking into stewardship thinking, where your focus shifts from simply getting by to managing wisely and planning strategically. If you are committed to maintaining humility and careful listening as this influence increases, comment 1212. I want you to be especially mindful of how you speak about money as it begins to show up more visibly in your life. Words shape perspective, and perspective shapes action, which means careless speech can gradually alter how you handle what I have provided. Speak with gratitude rather than pride, with responsibility rather than entitlement, and with awareness that every blessing is a trust placed in your hands. There will be opportunities that appear profitable but carry hidden instability beneath their surface, and those moments will test your patience and discernment. Quick gain can be appealing, especially after long seasons of waiting, but I am guiding you towards sustainable growth rather than sudden spikes that collapse under pressure. When you sense hesitation in your spirit, pause rather than push forward, because that pause may protect you from unnecessary loss. The secret ritual they never wanted public is finally out. A 7-second brain technique backed by leaked CIA data and 4 neuroscience labs is helping families erase debt and attract money on autopilot. But this miracle won't stay public long. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's gone forever. The money I have given you is not only for consumption, but for cultivation, meaning it must be managed in ways that allow it to grow and support your future rather than evaporate through impulse. I'm encouraging you to think in terms of building foundations, strengthening reserves, and creating systems that provide long-term stability. The discipline you develop now will become the shield that protects your increase when circumstances fluctuate unexpectedly. You may also encounter feelings of guilt when your situation improves while others continue to struggle, and those emotions can subtly influence how you handle your resources. I do not want you to feel ashamed of my provision, but to handle it with compassion and wisdom. Generosity, guided by discernment, will bless both you and others, while generosity driven by guilt may weaken your stability and create imbalance. Listening now before it is too late also means protecting your mental space from anxiety about maintaining what you receive. Fear of loss can become just as dangerous as recklessness because it can cause you to hoard, over-control, or avoid healthy risk altogether. I am teaching you balanced confidence, where you trust my ongoing provision while also practicing wise stewardship. If you feel my hand steadying your thoughts and strengthening your resolve to remain disciplined, comment 777. As the money becomes more visible, some relationships may shift subtly, and you must navigate those shifts with grace rather than suspicion. Not everyone who approaches you will have selfish motives, but not everyone will have pure intentions either, and discernment will help you distinguish between the two. Maintain kindness without naivety, generosity without vulnerability to manipulation, and openness without surrendering boundaries. I am also inviting you to invest time in learning continuously, because knowledge will multiply the effectiveness of what you manage. Study principles of stewardship, understand patterns of growth, and remain curious about how to strengthen your financial decisions with wisdom. The more informed you become, the more confidently you will handle what I have placed in your care. You have been given a lot of money because your life carries purpose that requires resources, and that purpose extends beyond personal comfort. I am aligning you with initiatives, opportunities, and responsibilities that will benefit not only you, but others connected to your journey. The increase is part of a larger vision, and your obedience keeps you synchronized with that unfolding design. There will be moments when progress slows temporarily, and those pauses are not signals of failure, but of adjustment and recalibration. During those times, resist the urge to panic or to chase aggressive expansion to compensate for slower movement. I am managing the rhythm of your growth, ensuring that it remains healthy rather than unstable. Listening now means honoring rest as well, because burnout can sabotage prosperity just as surely as recklessness. Pace yourself wisely, delegate when appropriate, and remember that your well-being is part of your stewardship. The money you have been given will not benefit from exhaustion or constant strain, but from clarity and balanced focus. If you sense that this season is shaping you into a wiser steward rather than simply a wealthier person, comment 999. I want you to remain anchored in gratitude as the visible evidence of my promise unfolds, because gratitude keeps your heart aligned with me. When you remember that I am the source, you avoid placing ultimate trust in temporary systems or fluctuating markets. Stability grows strongest when your foundation rests on my guidance rather than external conditions. The journey ahead will include growth, adjustment, learning, and occasional correction. But correction is not rejection, and adjustment is not loss. I am refining your path continuously so that the money I have given you fulfills its intended purpose without being wasted. Trust my timing, trust my wisdom, and trust that obedience remains your greatest asset. The preparation you have walked through has strengthened you internally, and now the external evidence of that strengthening is beginning to surface in measurable ways. I am not surprising you with sudden wealth without structure, but releasing increase into a life that has been shaped carefully over time. Listening to me now before it is too late remains your safeguard, because prosperity can slowly dull sensitivity if you are not intentional about remaining attentive. When financial pressure eases, the urgency that once pushed you to pray and seek counsel may weaken if you are not watchful. I am calling you to remain just as dependent in growth as you were in need, because sustained increase flows best through consistent humility. You have been given a lot of money, and part of your responsibility now is to cultivate emotional stability that matches your financial growth. Sudden shifts in circumstance can stir unexpected reactions, including excitement, fear, overconfidence, or insecurity, and each of these emotions can influence decisions subtly. I am teaching you to pause internally before acting externally, so that every step remains measured rather than impulsive. There will be new circles you may enter, environments where conversations revolve around investments, expansion, and influence, and those spaces require discernment and grounded identity. Do not allow comparison or competition to distort your priorities, because the money I have assigned to you is connected to your unique calling, not to rivalry. When you remain secure in your identity, you resist pressure to perform or prove yourself unnecessarily. If you are committed to remaining grounded and attentive as these changes unfold, comment 555. Is this leaked CIA ritual the missing key to your financial breakthrough? A once hidden brain ritual is spreading fast. This strange 7-second method, confirmed by elite neuroscience labs, activates your brain's wealth magnet. The government may shut this down. If you're seeing this, you are God's chosen child. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted. I want you to pay attention to the habits you establish during this season, because habits become patterns, and patterns shape long-term outcomes. Small disciplines practiced consistently will guard your increase more effectively than dramatic gestures made occasionally. Whether it is reviewing your finances regularly, seeking counsel before large commitments, or setting boundaries around spending, these practices build a protective structure around what I have entrusted to you. The money I have given you is not fragile, but it is responsive to how you handle it, much like a seed responds to the quality of soil and care. When you approach it with planning and gratitude, it grows steadily and reliably. When you approach it casually or emotionally, it may still function temporarily, but its long-term stability weakens gradually. Listening now before it is too late also means recognizing when to rest and when to advance strategically. There will be seasons where consolidation is more important than expansion, and pushing forward aggressively during those times can create unnecessary strain. I am orchestrating timing with precision, and your willingness to trust my pacing protects you from overextending yourself. You may encounter advice from well-meaning people who project their own fears or ambitions onto your journey, and not all of that advice will align with my direction for you. Discernment will be essential, because some guidance will strengthen your strategy while other suggestions may complicate it. Continue seeking confirmation through prayer and reflection, ensuring that your decisions remain anchored in clarity rather than external pressure. The increase unfolding in your life is also refining your sense of responsibility toward others, and I am shaping you into someone who gives thoughtfully rather than reactively. Generosity is powerful when guided by wisdom, because it multiplies impact without destabilizing your foundation. I am showing you how to balance compassion with prudence, ensuring that your resources serve meaningful purposes rather than temporary emotional relief. If you sense that I am sharpening your discernment and strengthening your judgment, comment 1010. There may be moments when doubt attempts to resurface, whispering that the progress you see is temporary or fragile. That doubt is rooted in old experiences of instability, and I am helping you separate past disappointments from present reality. The money I have given you now is supported by growth in your character, and that growth makes this season different from previous ones. I am also encouraging you to document your journey, to reflect on lessons learned, and to acknowledge milestones reached, because reflection reinforces wisdom. When you review how obedience has shaped outcomes, you strengthen your confidence in my guidance moving forward. The clarity you gain through reflection will protect you from repeating past mistakes and empower you to make informed decisions. Listening now involves protecting your integrity in every transaction and commitment, because integrity preserves trust, and trust strengthens opportunity. Shortcuts may promise faster results, but they often carry hidden costs that surface later in damaging ways. When you choose honesty and transparency consistently, you build a reputation that supports sustainable growth rather than unstable gain. You have been given a lot of money not only to secure your present, but to position your future with foresight and stability. I am inviting you to think generationally, to consider how your stewardship today influences security and opportunity tomorrow. This perspective elevates your decisions beyond immediate gratification and aligns them with long-term impact. There will be seasons when expansion accelerates, and others when consolidation dominates, and both rhythms are healthy when embraced wisely. Do not become restless during slower phases, because strengthening foundations during those times prepares you for future leaps. I am managing the overall trajectory of your increase, ensuring that it unfolds sustainably rather than explosively. If you feel that this season is shaping you into a responsible steward with vision beyond the present moment, comment 1515. The money I have given you is intertwined with my ongoing guidance, and separation from my voice weakens its effectiveness. Continue inviting me into strategic planning, daily decisions, and moments of uncertainty, because partnership ensures clarity. I am not distant from your financial growth, but actively involved in aligning it with purpose and stability. You are not merely accumulating resources, but developing wisdom that will influence how those resources are used and multiplied. That wisdom is more valuable than the numbers themselves, because it determines longevity and impact. As long as you remain attentive and obedient, the money will serve as a tool for growth rather than a source of anxiety or distraction. I am strengthening your posture internally, so that externally you do not wobble when new responsibilities and expectations settle around you. This stage is about anchoring what has arrived so that it becomes rooted rather than temporary. Listening to me now before it is too late still protects you, because maintenance can be more dangerous than pursuit if you become careless. When you were striving toward increase, you were alert and disciplined. But now that stability is forming, you must guard against subtle relaxation that weakens your structure. I am not warning you to create fear, but to maintain awareness, because sustained prosperity flows through consistent attentiveness. You have been given a lot of money, and with that comes expanded decision-making that reaches further than before. Each commitment you enter now has greater weight, and each financial choice carries broader consequences. I am guiding you to slow your internal pace, even if your external pace accelerates, because clarity is preserved through calm reflection rather than hurried reaction. There may be invitations presented to you that appear prestigious and promising, yet do not align fully with the direction I have designed for your journey. Discernment will protect you from entering paths that drain your focus or divide your energy unnecessarily. Not every impressive opportunity is a wise one, and listening closely will help you distinguish between expansion that strengthens and expansion that scatters. If you are determined to remain focused and disciplined as your responsibilities grow, comment 222. What if 7 seconds is all it takes to flip your financial fate? A shocking CIA leak just exposed a hidden brain ritual, helping ordinary people erase debt and pull in massive wealth. Backed by 4 neuroscience labs, this at-home method is turning struggle into luxury fast. But this page could be erased any moment. Click the link in the first comment now before it's gone forever. The money I have given you is also shaping your identity in ways that require intentional grounding. As your circumstances shift, you may notice others treating you differently, speaking to you with new respect or expectation. Guard your heart carefully so that your self-worth remains rooted in me rather than in perception or status, because identity confusion can subtly influence your decisions and priorities. I am also teaching you to view money as a steward rather than as an owner, because stewardship carries accountability and humility. When you remember that resources flow through you rather than originate from you, gratitude remains steady and pride finds no foothold. This perspective keeps your heart soft and your mind clear, ensuring that prosperity strengthens rather than hardens you. Listening now before it is too late also means protecting your time from unnecessary distraction, because increased resources often attract increased demands. Your schedule may fill quickly with requests, proposals, and meetings, and without careful boundaries, your energy can become fragmented. I am encouraging you to prioritize wisely, focusing on what aligns with your long-term vision rather than what merely appears urgent. There will be seasons when you must say no firmly yet graciously, understanding that every yes carries cost in time and attention. Saying no does not diminish your generosity, but preserves your capacity to say yes where it truly matters. The money I have given you flourishes best when accompanied by disciplined boundaries that guard your focus. If you sense my wisdom guiding you to establish healthy boundaries and maintain clarity, comment 777. I want you to reflect on how your mindset toward risk is evolving, because growth often requires calculated courage rather than avoidance. I am not leading you into reckless ventures, but into strategic movement where preparation meets opportunity thoughtfully. When you listen carefully, you will sense when to step forward boldly and when to hold steady patiently. There may also be moments when you question whether you are truly capable of sustaining this level of responsibility, especially if memories of past struggles linger in your thoughts. Those doubts are remnants of previous seasons, and they do not define your present capacity. I have strengthened you through experience, refined you through discipline, and positioned you for this stage deliberately. The money I have given you is not meant to create distance between you and those who once walked beside you during simpler times. Remain accessible in heart and grounded in humility, remembering that growth does not require separation from compassion. Balance wisdom with warmth, and let your increase enhance your generosity rather than isolate your spirit. Listening now means continuing to invite me into your private reflections, because private alignment shapes public decisions. Do not allow busyness to replace prayer or strategy to replace reflection, because clarity flows from connection. The more you remain internally aligned, the more confidently you will navigate external complexity. If you feel that this season is strengthening your leadership and refining your judgment simultaneously, comment 999. You are entering a phase where consistency will matter more than dramatic leaps, because long-term stability grows from repeated wise actions rather than singular bold moves. I am guiding you to build systems, track progress, and review outcomes regularly so that your growth remains intentional. Discipline practiced quietly will preserve what has been gained visibly. The money I have given you is also an opportunity to cultivate contentment, because contentment guards against endless striving that drains joy. When you learn to appreciate growth without obsessing over comparison, peace settles into your daily life. Prosperity anchored in contentment becomes sustainable and balanced. There will be lessons along the way, including adjustments and occasional corrections, but correction is refinement rather than rejection. I am continuously shaping your path so that each step strengthens your foundation rather than destabilizes it. Trust that even minor setbacks are part of calibration that enhances long-term resilience. Listening now before it is too late means remaining teachable, even when success affirms your decisions. Teachability preserves humility and invites ongoing wisdom into your journey. The moment you assume you no longer need guidance is the moment vulnerability increases. You have been given a lot of money, because you have been entrusted with purpose that requires resources, and that trust reflects my confidence in your growth. Continue walking steadily, reviewing carefully, and acting thoughtfully, because your future stability depends on the habits you reinforce now. The blessing unfolding in your life is not fragile, but it thrives under careful stewardship and steady listening. I am strengthening your inner compass so that every decision you make from this point forward carries steadiness instead of impulse. This stage is about preservation and multiplication, working together under discipline and humility. Listening to me now before it is too late continues to be the safeguard that keeps everything aligned, because subtle shifts in focus can create gradual drift. Drift does not happen in one dramatic moment, but through small compromises that seem harmless at first. I am asking you to examine your routines, your conversations, and your private thoughts, ensuring they remain anchored in gratitude and wisdom rather than entitlement or distraction. You have been given a lot of money, and with that comes expanded influence over environments and decisions that affect more than just yourself. Influence is powerful, and power must be balanced carefully with restraint and compassion. I am shaping you into someone who handles influence quietly and responsibly, avoiding arrogance while embracing accountability. There will be times when you feel pressure to expand quickly, especially when opportunities multiply and success attracts attention. Quick expansion can feel exciting, but sustainability often grows through deliberate pacing rather than rapid acceleration. I am guiding you to evaluate thoroughly, calculate carefully, and proceed thoughtfully, ensuring that each step strengthens your foundation rather than stretching it thin. If you are committed to steady growth over impulsive expansion, comment 1212. People are asking why money is suddenly flowing into random lives. A leaked CIA discovery reveals a 7-second brain ritual that quietly rewires your mind for wealth. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, people are wiping out debt and stepping into luxury with ease. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky. Click the link in the description and comments before it disappears. The money I have given you also requires emotional discipline, because increased resources can amplify both strengths and weaknesses. If insecurity once influenced your choices, prosperity may magnify that insecurity unless you address it with honesty and reflection. I am helping you identify lingering patterns so that you do not carry them into this new chapter unnoticed. Listening now before it is too late also involves remaining transparent and accountable in your dealings, because transparency builds trust, and trust supports long-term stability. Hidden decisions or unclear agreements can create tension that eventually surfaces in damaging ways. When you choose clarity from the beginning, you prevent unnecessary complications later. You may encounter situations where generosity feels complicated, especially when balancing compassion with responsibility. I am teaching you that generosity guided by wisdom carries far greater impact than generosity driven solely by emotion. The money I have given you will bless others most effectively when you pause, pray, and evaluate before acting. There will also be moments when fear of losing what you have gained whispers subtly in your thoughts, urging you to control excessively or withdraw unnecessarily. I am reminding you that fear is not your guide, and overprotection can hinder healthy growth. Balance confidence with caution, and let wisdom shape your boundaries rather than anxiety. If you sense that I am helping you manage influence with humility and confidence, comment 1515. You are stepping into a rhythm where evaluation becomes part of your routine and reflection strengthens your future decisions. Review what is working, adjust what needs refinement, and remain flexible enough to pivot when necessary. The money I have given you responds positively to adaptability rooted in principle rather than stubbornness rooted in pride. I also want you to protect your relationships carefully, because financial growth can unintentionally create distance if not handled with sensitivity. Remain attentive to how your changes affect those around you and communicate openly when necessary to prevent misunderstanding. Prosperity shared with wisdom strengthens connection rather than weakening it. Listening now before it is too late means remaining teachable even when confidence grows, because ongoing learning protects against complacency. The landscape of opportunity shifts over time, and staying informed ensures that your decisions remain relevant and strategic. I am guiding you to value continuous growth of knowledge alongside growth of resources.